Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media. This is your Tuesday Takeover Edition, and I got a doozy for y'all today. Man, I'm telling you, sometimes when I say stuff or I bring stuff to your attention, is out of good faith because of me doing proper research and highlighting certain things. Now, I'm about to do a reaction video to something that I seen today. Shout out to Money Mike Syndicate Podcast, because he brought something that's highlighted that I don't think none of us touched on. And we have talked about the CBA. We have talked about Unrivaled. We have talked about Breonna Stewart, her involvement, Kathy Engelbert, her involvement. Why are Kathy Engelbert allowing them to be a part of the CBA negotiate, the WPA board, and they are forming a whole new league? Well, guess what? Money Mike Syndicate broke it down today, and now it's understood. And because our true Indiana fans, we already had issues with Stephanie White. We already seen things of Stephanie White. And now it has become more clear and more understandable what is really, truly going on. As Money Mike would say, the fix is in. And I keep telling y'all, spite of the success of the Indiana Fever, Stephanie White's job is not safe. So I'm about to drop this video to y'all. Now, this video is long. It's long, and I'm going to let it run. I'm gonna pause in between because I will highlight certain things that he said and break down certain things that make sense so we can have a clear understanding. At the end of this video, I want y'all to like it and hype it up, because this is one that you don't want to miss.
Back in. The fix is back in. Stephanie White is conflicted. Stephanie White is in a situation again where she may have to face Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. Now, the last times I've seen Stephanie White or the Indiana Fever play against Thomas, I told you that was a gimmick. There used to be a lot of tape on her shoulder, right? But the conflictedness of Stephanie White not being able to coach against the Connecticut Sun players, who now they're waiting to face them in the NBA Finals.
Now, you wonder why was that? Why wasn't she able to coach against Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, who she had tape on, who she coached? And then DeWanda Bonner and Alyssa Thomas said later on that they knew her plays. They knew what she's going to do defensively, knew what she's going to do offensively. That is not out of coincidence. That is almost like Bill Belichick Spygate. Having tape on somebody, not knowing what they do, and all of a sudden you just out of nowhere, you could coach good against everybody else, or you could coach decent against everybody else, but you can't coach against your former players. Doesn't make sense at all, right, guys?
Caught my attention because now we've got to look at this totally different after what Stephanie White did. In the Indiana Fever, the love and affection that you have for Stephanie White, you may lose a coach, because the coach, there's a lot going on out here, folks. There's a lot that's going on in this story, and there's more to the story than what's going on. There's more to the story of Stephanie White. I'm going to talk to you about that.
If y'all had ever watched Transformers, I'm from old school, so if y'all have ever watched Transformers the cartoon or the recent Michael Bay Transformers, And you know what it always says, Transformers, more than meets the eye. This is what we got, guys. It's more than meets the eye. That's what's going on here.
Stephanie White left the game for personal reasons. We don't know what those personal reasons were. But I saw Stephanie White take liberty to put herself above the team the same way Reeve did. Now you're getting ready to go play a game 5, but you go to the pregame media and you're going to tell them that you got fined for supporting Cheryl Reeve. Now, you can't be lukewarm, you can't be hot or cold, and you can't serve two masters at the same time, because God is a jealous God, and he understands I'm at the throne. Anybody else that's offering you anything, and let me tell you what's being offered to the WNBA players. They're sitting on a mountaintop, and they're being told right now, you can have everything that you see. That's right. I'm going to break this down for you, folks. Stick with me. Get your coffee. If you love the bacon and eggs, or you want to get your tea, or you want to get on the treadmill, this is the show, Money Mike Syndicated Radio, you want to get on, because I'm going to really dive down deep and take this to another level when the fix is back in. The fix is back in. And I'm telling you, as clear as day, Stephanie White is conflicted. Conflicted. I told you she's going to have to make a choice. She's going to have to choose the Indiana Fever, or you're going to have to choose the W. And if you want to choose the W in the Simon family, we're all in that. We're there. Or is the Simon family backing up what Stephanie White is doing as the Indiana Fever organization? And does the Indiana Fever fans know this? Meaning, does the Indiana Fever fans know that the organization of the Indiana Fever, their season ticket holders, know that they are in support of Cheryl Reeve? Because the action that Cheryl Reeve, okay, and one thing you can't do, you can't be lukewarm. You can't say, you know what, I praise, give praise, honor, and glory to God, and then go on the other side and you're praising the enemy for what they've done when they've done wrong. They have flat notion. And here what it was, they kicked the male out of the game, but there was a lady that reached out her hand and touched Cheryl Reeve. This is confliction. Now, let's break it down, because Congress and the FBI will be here shortly. WNBA, who are the leaders, and if people question their business acumen, these guys are the best in the world. And let me tell you why they're the best in the world, because they're going by evolution and innovation. AI is coming to the game. Adam Silver has made a global commitment to bring AI to the game, the technology. Now, when you get in a situation like that, and you've got Unrivaled, which I've already told you, the NBA owns Unrivaled. Folks, you want to dig back, they got everything, Unrivaled NBA. So they got you on loan, but what they're going to do, they're going to sabotage.
Now, did you hear what he said? He said that the WNBA owns Unrivaled. Now, some of y'all might not think that's true, but how can it not be untrue? If you got two people that's they're owners of Unrivaled, and they sit on the board of the WNBPA, and Breonna Stewart clearly stated that Kathy Engelberg knew about this. How complicit is that? Anything is not always what it seems. We can say, hey, it's this, we can say it's that. But when you start digging deeply into stuff like this, you uncover so much. And that's why, for me, I'm never always quick to jump. I'm always looking more into it. That's why I kept saying this. Unrivaled they need the WNBA. The WNBA don't need Unrivaled. You can sit here and say, well, they got 300 million investors, but guess how they got it? We don't know how they got it. There's a lot of shaky stuff going on. Let me play back what he said again.
Technology. Now, when you get in a situation like that, and you've got Unrivaled, which I've already told you, the NBA owns Unrivaled, Folks, you want to dig back, dig a little deeper, you put up the NBA and put Unrivaled behind. They got a whole banner. They got everything. Unrivaled NBA. So they got you on loan. But what they're going to do, they're going to sabotage and starve you out. But before they get to that, okay, before they get to that, you got Gino. You talk about.
Did you hear what he said? That the WNBA is going to, since they got a stronghold on rival. And see, this is where all the greediness starts to come in at. How Breonna Stewart, Satu Sabli, the official call it, they all wants to be greedy. They trying to be greedy. And what he said that the WNBA is going to starve you out. It's going to deteriorate you. It's going to eliminate you slowly. It's like lethal injection. It's going to let you die slowly. And carry on.
Gino, Ariana, Yukon Mafia. You talk about Mafia. Stewart and Collier. Folks, you got to dig down deep on this one, because this one here, I'm going to tell you what you got and why Congress is coming. It's going to be hard on a lot of people. This one here is going to shake up people's lives, because you got the WNBA, the fix is in. Now you got Congress is going to investigate the fix. Congress is going to send the FBI into the WN players' world. They're going to clip every clip. They're going to take every email. They're going to take every text message. Because here's what's up. You've been taught and told something, but you're out of your league on this one. And this one here is not going to end pretty. It's going to end the careers, the line of Curt Flood, of a lot of players. Because right now, you have what you call as mutiny. And you got Cheryl Reed, you got Becky Hammond, right? And you sucked in Stephanie White, because she's on the Indiana Fever. But you've had fans all year long questioning Stephanie White's loyalty to the Indiana Fever. Not being able to coach against Bonner. Was there more to that story? Okay, there's a lot of rumors out there, guys. I don't report rumors, but there's a lot of stuff circulating out there of what Stephanie White's personal reasons are. Okay, and this one here is not pretty. Okay, this is, you're getting into something where Gino, right, has put two people in a conflict of interest representing the WNBA Players Union. I want you guys to follow me on this, and I want you to understand where Money Mike is going. Folks, in this country, we have Jimmy Hoffa. Okay, Collier. All right, you got Collier and you got Stewart. They're doing a Jimmy Hoffa move right now. There's coercion behind. And the FBI, here's where Congress and the FBI is going to come. And let me tell you, when you get to Roger Goodell, folks, I'll tell you about the NFL. Well, they got the cleanest background check. They know everything about you. You coming in there, they got so many public relations director. For every media person in the building, the NFL can assign a public relations person to be with them the entire game until they understand who you are. I know it because I went through it, right? They're going to check you out and they're going to follow your story and make sure that you're here representing, because you got a lot of coercion and collusion, and you've got gambling, you've got betting, you've got a lot of things that are happening weird here. And what they're trying to do is point a picture of saying it's the WNBA officials. Folks, I'm going to tell you this in the science of the game. I'm talking about the science of the game. I have never, ever heard of officials causing injury. Let me just give you an example of that. Major League Baseball, you have umpires, right? Umpires called ball and strike out safe, right? How can I? Then you got the inducing, the tackling, the hitting, right? Because they had to go before Congress, right? Because they got CTE, right? And now, but the official in the NFL are not the ones causing injury, right? It's the players who are causing the injuries now, but they're blaming it on the official.
And to that point, what he's saying is that because the fact of the matter is that Kathy Engelbert is allowing these players to be physical like that, allowing these players to get injured like that, is that it's paying, even though the referees are missing some calls or not calling certain calls, But when it comes down to the physicality of it, it's like the referees already been on notice not to call a certain physical foul or something that's harmful or dangerous because they want that play to go on. So again, the officials take their order from the top, the leadership. You know what I'm saying? It's not coincidence that Cheryl Reeves called out Kathy Engelbert in that meeting and say we need to change the leadership. It's not a coincidence that they suspended her. It's not a coincidence that they fined Becky Hammond after her comments. It's it's a pattern right there. You could tell it's a pattern. Something's going on that is about to be exposed by the end of the season or during the off season. But I can tell you this: if Congress gets involved, you best be prepared for the lid of this league to be blown off completely. I'm not saying it's going to destroy the league. I'm not saying that. But individuals that's in this league is going to be exposed to ways that you probably have not even imagined.
I have never seen anything like this. And can someone out there, because I got the most intelligent fans. I mean, trust me, Money Mike loves you because you keep me clean, right? And you can hit me back on this one. Can somebody send me the science, the definition, the study, the Arthur's definition of a WNBA official or a basketball official that will cause injuries, right? At a professional level. I'm not talking about junior high school. That's different. I'm not talking about high school. I'm really not even talking about college because college doesn't really have this problem, right? But the WNBA is hanging its hat on the injuries. Now, you've heard a lot of people say a lot of things. Like Candace Parker, we're going to make these guys pay, right? You got Collier, we're going to force you to do this. We're going to force them to do that, right? But you got what you call here, folks. And when you get to Congress, because see, before Congress gets here, they're going to send the FBI. Folks, let me back up, and Money Mike's going to tell you how the game really worked and what my experience in grassroots, and everybody didn't have the same experience, right? Because the FBI got involved, right? The FBI, that's what's coming to the WNBA. The FBI is coming in, and what they're looking for here is coercion and collusion. They're going to be looking at mail fraud, and they're going to be looking at any kickbacks or any money or revenue that's been sent for a coercion and a collusion that's taking place, which is really on the federal level of criminal activity, right? Because we got to understand Collier, Stewart, Gino, right? Gino's over there bashing the game worse than anybody else. Now, here's the problem with their business model. They don't have the capital to do this. They do not have the capital to do it. And the platform that they're doing it on, once the WNBA takes that platform away from a year, they're going to go silent. They're going to go dormant. They're going to be back to 200,000 people watching Unrivaled, and that's it. This thing here, because here's what happened. And I told everybody right from the beginning. See, you got to look at the league itself, the NBA and the ABA. Okay, you got the WNBA called the ABA Unrivaled, right? There might be 4 or 5 teams that survive out of that league. The rest are going to fold, and people are going to lose a lot of money. They're going to lose a lot of money on this one. I mean, a lot of money because you're operating on a bubble, right? You're throwing out evaluations, you're throwing out numbers, and you're doing this. And of course, you got the NBA sitting right there, and they're not happy. Adam Silver is not happy, right? So Gino, the question is going to come. Gino's going to be sitting in front of Congress, right? Because they're going to get all up in Gino's Kool-Aid. He don't know it's coming yet, but they're coming for you, Gino. The FBI is coming for Gino because they're going to want to go in there. Well, excuse me. They're going to want to go in there. Let me tell you what they're going to do. At AT&T, folks, we got all the power. We have all the control. Okay? Me coming from corporate America, I understand one thing is I understand what it means in America to stay on your side of the tracks. The women are out. They need to be on their side of the tracks. And when you start going at the billionaires, they don't play for it. They're going to crush you like a bug. And you may not agree with me, right? I'm not looking for agreements. Well, Money Mike will always tell you, it's my opinion. When it turns to truth, I'm giving you the facts way before it happened. And folks, being in the industry, understand the market industry of supporting and managing so many accounts. I can tell you now, the WNBA is just a single headquarter in New York. They got 16 locations they're building out, and this is their plan, right? And Money Mike, as I was communicating with John Stanky, John, it's a simple fix, okay? Because I understand the corporate devices. I understand what the capability of them are, right? And when you get into coercion and collusion, the FBI, let me tell you what happened, folks. They went in and they looked at all the bribery, right? So there were some people that went to federal prison behind this, okay, because they were doing bribery. Now you got a situation where you got a conflict of interest, two individuals that the CBA did not allow to have separate representation for the union members, okay? And they're going to prove that. The FBI is going to prove it to you, right? And here's where you get the three top dogs, they're going to send them after. Let me tell you who they're going to send them after to get. They're going to send them after Stephanie White. They're going to send them after Becky Hammond, and they're going to send them after Reed. And when the FBI gets you, folks, let me tell you how this works. Okay, in the NFL, John Gruden was the head coach of the NFL, just like Cheryl Reed. Same situation. Gruden's a fighter. I mean, he didn't take it sitting down. So I'm anxious to see how these players and these coaches are going to take it, because they're putting in a fix. The fix is in. You're going to have to question if Indiana Fever win today, right? Will they have the spirit and mind, and can Stephanie White coach that game, the WNBA finals, legally? Can she do it without any coercion? Can she do it? Because I've watched Stephanie White not coach a team and take a loss. Okay, and this is where I backed up when I talked about the fixes in. I'm talking about the integrity of the game. They're going to get you, because when the FBI went in there after NCAA basketball, let me tell you what they found. This is what happens when you got to go in front of Congress. They're going to pull all your skeletons out the closet. And they're going to pull them out early. They're going to pull them out.
I want to touch on that because what he's saying is true with John Gruden, because when Congress got involved, they did it with Dan Snyder when he was doing all of that stuff inside the Washington Commanders throughout the years with his employees and stuff. Bruce Allen, who was the GM at the time, they caught John Gruden on the phone talking to, saying racial stuff like that. They even did it to Phil Palmer, whatever his name is, over there with the Clippers. And like he just illustrated, they just did this to Jim Harbaugh, banned him for 10 years of all the stuff that he did at the University of Michigan. Now, and Michigan went on to win the national title 2 years ago. But then they put the hammer on him, and they put the hammer on his assistant coach as well. Regardless of how the season plays out at the end of the season, at the end of the finals, make no mistake, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out in the off season. And I'm just here to tell y'all, warning y'all. Y'all can believe it. Y'all don't have to. Y'all can believe it or not believe it. But when I tell you, if Congress gets home, because do you already have governors and senators for certain different states already coming out talking about stuff in the NBA? Then you had Gino Auriemma just came out with a video talking about how bad the product is. Now, he ain't said that last year. He said that last year. You know why he said that? Because of his two UConn players, Breonna Stewart and Neficia Carter. All of this stuff starting to make sense, and it all starting to add up slowly. And Money might pinpoint it on one particular thing. I do believe that Indiana Fever is going to win tonight. Make no mistake about it. I believe they're going to win tonight. But guess what? Once they get in the finals, how is Stephanie White is going to coach? How is she going to act? Because guess what? If she could either act just like Cheryl Reed's in the finals, get suspended a game, hand the title to Phoenix Mercury. It's going to happen. Something's going to happen. But I do believe Becky Hammond, she might be up out of here after this season. It's not coincidence that Sandy Bardello is going. It's not a coincidence. All of these old coaches, these long tenure coaches, you're starting to see they're about to get them up out of there. They brought in a coach, a new coach from LA, new coach for Golden State. They're gonna have new coach for Portland, new coach for Toronto. You already got new coach for Connecticut, new coach for Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? A new coach for Chicago, a new coach for Dallas. Now you're gonna have a new coach for New York. You might have a new one for LA, and you damn sure might have a new one for Indiana. And if you think that Stephanie White might be gone, then you might need to dig down deep in this a little bit more.
Not in a subjective manner. They've got your conversations, they got your emails, they got your text messages. They got every step you take. They know what time you log on, they know what time you get in your car. They've got people following you, and they are watching the money flow in the background. And this is where it's going to get really interesting, because Gino's over there talking about the basketball league, and he's saying all this stuff. Now, what Gino has done is put two of his players to run point for all the WNBA players. Here's where it goes. And now the FBI's got to go find out, did they get kickback money on this? Where's the money exchange? Because that's where the criminal activity is going to come in. And this is how this thing's going to work. And it's going to strip down.
And see what's funny? And it's funny because he's saying this because Gino Auriemma is a investor. He's a part of Unrivaled. It makes sense for him to be speaking out. It's funny he ain't speaking out. It's like, oh, as Gino put the WNBA on blast. No, all of this stuff that people say is not just by coincidence. It's a reason behind this. It's a motive behind everything that these people do. It's not they're not talking just to be talking in good faith. These people have personal interest in what's going on with the W and with Unrivaled because they all both tied together.
A lot of people, because a lot of people, right? You guys are sitting here and everybody's saying, okay, this is a bad business. There's nothing wrong with the business model. It's the people who are doing business within the business model. And this situation with Collier, okay, and Stewart coming up there representing the league, coming out of there when I saw, players of the WNBA going, this is way over my head. And when you start leading them down the path and you've been paid to do it, you've been paid to do this, right? You've been paid to do it. And now we got to understand when you were getting paid, who else got paid? Because folks, in the NCAA men's basketball, and I knew all the players. I knew all the players involved. I knew all the players were there. I knew all the players who got the people got the kickback. Come to money, that's not my game, right? Because why? Because I had a business, Showtime Hoops, within basketball. I had a business that I was able to generate revenue. And what I mean by that, our business could generate $200,000-$300,000 a year, right? In the basketball. So I didn't have to take money for the sake of a player. And I've been down the path. And I know the code, right? Because the code is, coach, if there's anything we could do for your program, you let us know, right? Because you want the player, right? Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting. Because you're going to find out people are betting on these games. You're going to find out if people are WNBA players betting on these games, right? Who's betting and who is leading the coercion and doing the fix? Because here's a situation that I just saw. I saw Stephanie White support Cheryl Reeve. So if Stephanie White supports Cheryl Reeve, then she doesn't support Caitlin Clark, right? And this has been the way she's been all along. This is a bad situation for Indiana. Indiana may lose a coach, may decide to fire a coach, right? Because at the end of the day, the skeletons in the closet are going to come out, folks. I don't have anywhere to do it. I'm talking about the WNBA owners. I'm talking about Congress. I'm talking about the FBI. And they are looking, and the Supreme Court, which is already on deck. They've already voted on this situation, right? Because it's already set. And no matter who it is or where it is, whether it was Reagan, Nixon, Bush, doesn't matter to me. You got to respect the office of the president, right? And now you've got a total situation, right, where they're going to lose control of this. And when they lose control of it, it's going to be tough because Gino has got two players running point, but he's bad-mouthing the WNBA. You got people thinking the WNBA business model is a bad business. It's not a bad business model, right? Well, what they do know What they do know is they got a fix, they got a coercion, and hey, folks, you've been seeing people get fined $50, which is equivalent to 10 cents. They slap out there $15,000. I don't know what these coaches make, but I tell you what, you want to get out of line again, Stephanie White, keep making your coach. Indiana Fever going to lose a coach. I'll tell you that right now.
See, and this is where things get really tricky and deep, because no matter what, like I said, no matter what the season may turn and goes into or spins into, the situation with Stephanie White and all of these other coaches is too deep. The situation is deep. And like I said before, I don't care if Stephanie White wins it all. I don't care if she doesn't win it all. The Indiana Fever organization going to have to make a decision about her at the end of the season, because with all of this stuff here pertaining with the FBI, Congress, embezzlement, money laundering, all of this stuff is going to hit the fan. And if the Simon family knew this by bringing Stephanie White in, and say if they didn't knew, and Kelly Chriscox knew this, bringing Stephanie White in, or Amber Cox knew this, bringing Stephanie White in, or Stephanie White hid this stuff and knew this, and she's in line with all of these other coaches, people jobs is going to get fired. They're going to get fired. This stuff is too deep. Like, again, I explained it to y'all perfectly. When Daniel Snyder knew he was going to lose the Washington Commanders back in the day, he ended up firing Bruce Allen. But the problem didn't go away. It didn't go away by him firing Bruce Allen. That was his GM. Then he appointed some other people. He tried to do DEI hires. That didn't work because they was complicit too. Then guess what? Congress got a hold to it. They brought Roger Goodell up to Congress, questioning him numerous times about his relationship. You have the late Jim Irsay outing Daniel Snyder. See, when you mess with these owners' money and people think that, oh, the WNBA is just going to go away. No, it's not. These owners' pockets is too deep to allow a product to be, especially when you messing with their money and you stealing money from them. That's a problem. A lot of heads is going to end up rolling once this stuff start coming out more and more. All y'all got to do is sit back and watch the show.
And if Indiana Fever are going to lose Stephanie White, right? Because either Stephanie White is not committed to the Indiana Fever, because if you're sitting there with Caitlin and the team, and I always told you guys, at the end of the day, I don't really go after players. I really look on the organizational level. And if something's going on there that you need that's not right, I'm going to get you out of there. Right, I'll get you out, and I'm very experienced at doing it because I do it in the NFL. Right, you have to understand when the Patriot want to do it the Patriot way. I just get on the horn and tell Mark Davis, right? Hey, Mark's from Chico State. I'm with Chico State. It's not gonna matter, right? But this guy's not with you, Mark. It's time for him to go. Right, he's fired. He's gone. Right, it's no question. Sacramento Kings. You just should have traded De'Aaron Fox long ago. I told you it's going to cost the general manager Murray his job, right? Yep. He got fired, right? When I was there in the Oakland thing, I'm sitting next to Lowell Kuhn, who was a great mentor for me. Really learned a lot from him in the media. Great Santa Rosa Press Democrat, great journalist, right? I'm sitting there with Hugh Jackson. He got a stronger hand in the Raiders. Are you going to take a stronger hand in the offense, defense, especially? And he got up there and said, I'm going to take the strongest hand. I'm going to be in the offense, the defense, and especially I'm going to make sure this whole organization right. You know what happened? Next day, Mark fired him. He fired him, right? This is where I'm going with this. Stephanie White is going to be out, right? Because Stephanie White is not a leader. Stephanie White is a follower.
Exactly.
Right? And I always that. Now I realize Stephanie White's not a leader, folks.
And to that point, by him saying that she's not a leader, and again, this is a long video, and I do want y'all to really listen to this video in whole because it's indicative. It's very important to understand where all of this stuff is going. I know that this is not one of my live streams or any stuff like that, but it's too much to go on and talk in live stream. I need to do it in a video format because I need y'all to sit down and just listen to this. And like I said before, make sure you hit that like button so you can hype up this video because this is a video that you do not want to miss. He said the same thing. Stephanie White is a follower. She's not a leader. Whenever she had led anything, wherever she had won, she only won one championship. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I will always explain people. Yeah, because we get on Stephanie White, or you want to give Stephanie White credit for this. No, she doesn't deserve any credit because she is very complicit to what's going on. She never allowed Caitlin Clark to be Caitlin Clark from the get-go. She moved around. She hyped up other players. You know what I'm saying? She came there on an agenda. She didn't come there to help improve this team, because this team, if you had the right coach to coach this team, none of the players on this team would have got injured the way they did. All of these players got injured for some form of fashion. And it seemed like all these players that had great relationship with Caitlin Clark, or started liking Caitlin Clark, or being around Caitlin Clark, they started getting injured. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, Kelsey Mitchell and Leah Boston didn't get injured. But you gotta see this stuff for what it is. And this right here, this ain't conspiracy theory stuff right here. This is real life stuff. This ain't no conspiracy theory. This ain't no talking. I rely on this guy's information because he's been around the game and he knows what the heck he's talking about. I ain't listened to no Scott Agnes, no Robert Limber, no Chloe Peterson, and all of that stuff. When I come to you with information, it's going to be concrete because I research it and look it up myself. The rabbit hole go deeper, farther than what we witnessed, and that's why I explain to you. People, y'all keep telling me, say, "Oh, they're not gonna get rid of Stephanie White." Oh no, because of the injuries. And man, look. Money talk, BS walk, and that's the bottom line.
She's a good coach. She's good for Indiana, but I'm telling you, man, she's selling Indiana. She's smiling in your face, but selling you out right in the back. And I was questioning it. And I said, how in the world?
I disagree the part about she's a good coach.
Cheryl Reeve, when Cheryl Reeve did that to Caitlin Clark, that's where the rubber is going to meet the road. And you know what?
And see, that's another thing too. She backed Cheryl Reeve for what she did, but she didn't stand up to Cheryl Reeve for what Cheryl Reeve did, keeping Caitlin Clark off the Olympics. And then the thing about it is, you didn't stand up for Caitlin Clark when you played against her last year in the playoffs when she got stuck in the eye by Dejanay Carrington. You was on the sideline laughing about it. You know what I'm saying? With Dejanay Carrington. Y'all was making fun about it. Then all of a sudden you turned around and they brought you in to coach her to where she ended up getting injured out for the season because you didn't stand up for her then when she got brutalized by the Connecticut Sun. You allowed it. It's like you didn't want to do nothing against your former stomping grounds. You allowed Caitlin Clark to continue to get injured like that. So she's never been right for her. She's never been right for her.
People are being hoodwinked. People are being bamboozled. Gino set this out from the gate. Man, there's money floating around. Follow the money. See, if you get with Money Mike's going to follow the money. I'm looking for kickbacks. Okay, I'm looking for collusion. I'm looking for coercion. And I'm going to track all of these emails that are out there. And folks, this is how it works. This is why it doesn't make any sense to me. I see the NBA players talking about they get these message and everything. From our world, in the corporate environment, when we set you up with content management, let me tell you how content management works. We're going to let you hand out 300 devices to your employees. We manage the content to that. We understand everything they send out. We understand everything that happens, right? Now, nobody's going to track 20,000 or 50,000 messages off of one phone until you get a criminal activity. Now, that's where the FBI comes in. FBI is going to come in and say, I want all WNBA players text messages, right? They're going to get into invasion of your privacy, and they're going to find out what you really got going on, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you got any conversation about gambling, you got any conversation about coercion, or you got any conversation about collusion, okay, you're committing a criminal act, right? And when it comes down the pike, okay, when it comes down the pike, and I'm telling you, when you do something wrong and they're out to get you, they're going to get you. Folks, they got John Gruden, right? And John was pissed. Because John's like, hey, you found all my emails, but what about the other people involved? We're not after them. They're after Cheryl Reeve, we're after Becky Hammond, and we're after now Stephanie White, right? This is how this game is going to get played. It ain't going to be pretty. They're going to jump in there. They're going to investigate ESPN. ESPN is going to follow up under investigation too. Why? Because when they start looking at if they start looking at Reeve, they look at Hammond, and they're going to look at Stephanie White, all of their text messages, all of their emails. They're going to find out they're talking to other individuals. It's how it broke, folks. In the NCAA basketball, when the scandal went down, they were looking for basketball. But you know what they found? They found they got a rowing coach over there. All right. They found that we've got other people who are taking more money than basketball. So while basketball is getting 100, 200, 300,000, you have people going in there getting on Harvard or getting on, not Harvard, but getting on, I'm not going to single anybody because I don't have the list, but you have people going in there who are getting their kids in school, celebrity, and paying $400,000 because they understand the value of the degree, right? But they're putting them on the rowing team. They've never rowed in their life, right? So what happened? You had other people were arrested, not just for NCAA basketball. They found out there's a collusion and a coercion that's going on. I will guarantee you this. There is collusion, there is coercion, there's Gino. And man, when I saw the conflict of interest of Stewart and Collier, I said, there's no way you come out of there and you make a statement that the NBA doesn't want anybody playing in the other leagues and you're trying to pump this up. Players are going to be done. Right? Because here's the thing, folks. Here's what happens. It's nothing to pay every player. $150 million is not going to break the bank of a billionaire, right? You could pay him $2 million a year. It's not going to break the bank of a millionaire. And it's not your talent that really does it. It's not the best restaurant in the world does not have the best chef, right? They have the vibe, the environment, they have the ambience, they have everything that you need to make it selection easy, right? The WNBA is fighting a process for a trend, right? They're fighting for activism. They're fighting to be able to do something with no money. It's not their platform. If the WNBA doesn't play for a year, Unrivaled will just about go out of business because the only way they can stay in business is through competition. See, they're pinning this on the competition. But when the WNBA and Adam Silver eliminates the competition, then the game's going to be over. And people are going to lose. They're going to lose big. What I'm telling you here is the fix is back in. That's number one, right? You've got coercion, collusion. It's like Jimmy Hoffa here, right? Because you can't, there's no way you can trust the players union. There's no way that you can sit here with me, look me straight in the eye and say, trust the players union, because the players union is not, they're not there for the players. They're there. People, you know what people are doing? They're stuffing their own pockets. Right now, they're stuffing their own pockets. Then after they stuff their own pockets, this is real time, Money Mike, I'm giving it to you. It's not going to be my most popular one, but it is one I got to do. While they're stuffing their own pockets, then they're coming back and offering less. See, here's what they do. Okay, you two go be the lead of the CBA union, right? Now,
that's what they did with the last CBA. This current CBA right here, that's what they did. They paid the veterans and gave the rookies less money. And they took more money than what they did across the board. Now they're trying to come out and say, oh, because Caitlin Clark came into the league and they did all of this viewership and all of this stuff right here and boost up ratings and all of that. Now we want more money. You know what I'm saying? They talk about they want all of this extra stuff right here and there. And that's why I always say that they never going to get what they want. And all of this fake coming out, talk about, well, we're going to lock out and all of this stuff. Guess what? A rival can't afford for the WNBA to lock out because it kills their brand. It kills their brand because there's not enough players in a rival to carry the league. And there's not enough money, viewership, TV marketing money to carry the league. They only average, their viewership average was so low last year, and their viewership average will be even lower this year when it starts. And that's why, to me, I feel like the Upshot League is going to be the perfect model for the WNBA in the future. And I have a video on that coming because I think the WNBA and the Upshot League is going to work hand in hand because the Upshot League is more of a development league for women's sports. that will help the WNBA. The WNBA is going to kill Unrivaled. And y'all, and I'm sorry to tell y'all this, but it's going to happen. Unrivaled is not going to survive.
We're going to push coercion in an offer, okay? Because it comes down to now, well, what do you guys think you can get the women to take, right? And then they may say, well, I can get them to take $1.5 million a year, right? Well, that's too much. How about I give you each $2 million and you get them to take $750,000 a year? See, this is where the game is going, folks, and all of this is going to come out. All of it, because there's too many skeletons in the closet. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there, but I will drop the link into my description. But now y'all understand and y'all see how deep this rabbit hole goes. This stuff ain't just about basketball. It's about money. It's about who's want the most money. And as the league is trying to prosper and grow, you got Gino Auriemma right here. You got Breonna Stewart. You got Neefisha Collier. You got Kathy Engelberg. And what's going to happen, like I said before, once this comes out, there's going to be how can I say that? A storm is coming, guys. A storm is coming, and it's going to be bad. So you could take my advice. You could take Money Mike's advice, and shout out to him. If you're not subscribed to Money Mike's Syndicate Podcast channel, please do so. This man he be dropping gems. He be dropping gems. And so, and if you don't believe what I'm saying or him saying, hey, do research for yourself. Look deeper at this. I have said it so many times that I don't watch sports so many times, and I done seen it from all levels, how all of this stuff work, how people get caught up in stuff by taking money, doing stuff. This league has gotten really out of hand this year because they thought that they could get away with it. This is why the players want to keep stuff covered. This is why they don't want a lot of fans. They don't want the eyes on them because guess what? Everything is about to be exposed on this league. And these same players that's been covered so long is going to be washed out. And all of these new players going to come in to usher the new generation of this league. And the product going to start getting better because it's going to be about basketball. It won't be about activism, racism, and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, comment, subscribe. This is Live Wire Sports Media, the true media of perfection. And if you like this video, like I say, hit that like button and hit that hype button right behind it and hype up this video. You ain't gonna want to miss this one, guys. This is a doozy.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire. Sports and entertainment. Let's go.